We live during a time of great advancement and acceptance of the LGBTQ community. They are granted a level of equal rights and freedom long denied them. It was, however, not always this way. Prior to the American gay rights movement, homosexual men and women lived in the shadows, keeping their orientation a tightly hidden secret. To be open and live outwardly, gays and lesbians of that time risked everything. They were pariahs, thought to be deviants, dangerous criminals with what was then described as a psychiatric disorder. They had to hide their orientation from the public, from their families and friends, and from their employers, from society as a whole. Failure to do so would have meant rejection and repudiation, exile from their homes and families, job loss and unemployment at best, incarceration, defamation, and character assassination, and risk of physical harm at the hands of homophobes and law enforcement. Harvey Milk took a stand for the gay community when he became the first openly gay politician elected into office. Milk used his campaign and election to inspire and motivate many closeted gays to come out and stand up for themselves and others like them. Milk's death is still considered a symbol of activism, and he is remembered as a catalyst for the gay rights movement. On May 22, 1930, in Woodmere, New York, Harvey Milk was born. He was a bright student and young athlete. To the other students, he was known as a class clown. Even at a young age, Milk was aware of his sexuality, but at the time, he kept it a secret to protect his family. When Milk got out of school, he spent a brief time in the Navy, serving in the Korean War. Before he was honorably discharged, he became a junior lieutenant. When he returned home in 1955, he took a teaching job at a high school. In 1972, Harvey Milk moved to San Francisco with his boyfriend Scott Smith. They opened a camera shop on Castro Street. At great personal risk, Harvey Milk ran for and won a position on the San Francisco Board of Supervisors in 1977, which means that he became the first outwardly gay man to win an elected position. Milk served as an elected official at a time when living publicly as a homosexual was perilous and scandalous. However, he felt that no one should have to live in the closet. Milk began his tenure in public office by sponsoring a civil rights bill that would outlaw discrimination based on sexual orientation. This initiative was passed and signed into law by the mayor of San Francisco. He also stood out publicly against an initiative that would have made it legal under CA law for school districts to fire any teachers or school employees who publicly supported gay rights. His public opposition to this initiative resulted in President Jimmy Carter, former Governor Ronald Reagan, and Governor Jerry Brown speaking out publicly against the initiative, which was ultimately defeated. Harvey Milk was just one of the thousands of gays who lived during the 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. During this time, homosexuality was seen as a mental disease and not as a way of life. Many people thought they could cure homosexuality through conversion therapy. Conversion therapy is a set of treatments that are intended to change a person's sexuality or gender identity to fit heterosexual or cisgender standards or expectations. Even today, gays are looked down upon and are not treated as equal human beings. It took quite a lot of strength for this man to remain kind and courteous, even though people treated him the opposite. San Francisco was an area where many homosexuals lived together. It was a place where they could build a life and be treated as equals. Even though this area was one built of cheap houses and received poor city care, Harvey still did not let this get him down. When Milk realized that other businesses, including his own, were not being treated equally, he wanted to do something about it. He did not only run to support the LGBT community, but also to support schools and small business owners. Harvey wanted every person to be able to do what they wanted, be who they were, and love who they want. And he achieved that goal. Without him, I believe that our country would be different for homosexuals. He was the one who started this movement, but before he could make the full changes he wished to achieve, he, along with George Moscone, was assassinated by Daniel White on November 27, 1978. Because of all the good Milk did before he died, many closeted men and women are safe to come out and be who they are and love who they choose. And because Milk stood up for what he believed, he created a community of love and equality. Perhaps this is the hidden wisdom of Milk's campaign. It revealed what only experiences and time can teach us. For however much sexual orientation and gender identity will be debated, investigated, or legislated, there is no more insightful evidence than that of the truth we carry in the story of our lives being lived out in the open. In the 38 years since Harvey encouraged the veil to be pulled back, we have revealed not just to the heterosexual community, but to the world, that human sexuality is in actuality as fluid and diverse as expression and identity as the people it inhabits. We are just, in fact, teachers, parents, and pastors, children, adults, politicians, and so much more. Evidence suggests that orientation and gender are not merely expressions of sexual choices, but more likely the mysterious makings of what we call humanity.